Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Blokes on a Budget, Tips, Tricks and Money Savers. Today I'm going to show you how to fix a leaking toilet cistern. Now there's two things that can go wrong with a toilet cistern, as I will explain properly in the video. One is the outlet valve could be a problem. That's the thing that's connected to the button that you push to flush the toilet. Or there's the inlet valve. This video is going to be about how to change the inlet valve for now. So also don't forget, connect with us on Facebook, obviously it's on YouTube, and the website, obviously www.blokesonabudget.com.au, where I write everything up in step-by-step written detail so you can see how to do things. So the product we're going to use to do this job is a product called the Fluid Master. The reason I chose to use this one rather than some of the other ones around, not that they're better or worse, is just because I know this one is everywhere. You can get it at hardware stores if you don't live near plumbing suppliers. But it's basically known as a universal inlet valve. I'll show you this one. This is a bottom entry type, the one we're working with today, because the water comes through the bottom of the cistern rather than say a back entry or a side entry type. So you can get this anywhere, like I said. These are the first ones to come on the market for this type of inlet valve. So there's a lot out there. So a lot of the time you might even come across a cistern that this doesn't work. Also, a big problem with these is they actually don't stop filling up. So if you already have one in there and you buy a new one, the same type, as I'll show you how to pull them apart in the video, but when it's in, you'll just pull up this little locking clamp here, and the whole top will pull away like that, and that'll be left in the cistern. Pull your new one apart, grab your new top, whack it straight back on and clamp that back down. And in the video I show you how to set heights and things like that. Yeah, it can't be easier to fix it if you already have one in place. Also very easy to change if you have any other type of inlet valve going around. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so first we've got to diagnose what we're trying to fix. Now this particular toilet isn't actually leaking down in the bowl, what we're going to repair. It's leaking out on the side on the floor. But the thing we're going to replace is the same, the inlet valve. Now, if your toilet's actually leaking, you've actually got to diagnose if it's the inlet valve or the outlet valve. So what you're going to notice is something like this. And 1 second, you'll see water running down the back. Okay? Large amount, small amount, or whatever. So we've got to get the cistern lid off and look inside and see what part of it it's actually making it leak. So we'll do that. First of all, you've got to get the cistern lid off, and that can be tricky. Now it can be this type, which for this one, the whole outer thing screws, and we'll lift straight out, which we can now lift this up. It may be another type, if it's got two, looks like this big round one, it's got two half buttons. You may actually have to pry the button out of the center, and then there'll be a screw sitting in the base that you have to undo the screw. So you need to be a little bit careful. I wouldn't go in and just start twisting the entire thing, because you may break something. So if it's hard to twist, then it's going to be, you need to actually try and get a little screwdriver and lift this button bit out. Also, don't go trying to pry this button out if it's not that tight, because you'll break it. Also, there's the old type that have like a thread around the outside, and it's much smaller than this, but it has a thread around the outside with one single button. You just need to outdo the outside of that, but yeah, it's kind of site specific. But anyway, that's off. Take the lid off. Now I'm going to simulate it. Now there's some of the other types, like this is the outlet valve, and that's the inlet valve. This is where the water comes in when the arm moves. Some of these, the older type, there's actually a tube that runs through the center, a big tube, about that big. So when the water starts to overflow, it goes down the tube and runs into the toilet. With this one, it's a tube set off to the side, and it's here. Now, if the water is, see how the water level is right up to the top of the tube. If the rubber at the base of this was okay and it wasn't letting water through, then this thing would be running like it is now, and water would be falling over the top and running down into the cistern. That's if this thing's screwed. If this thing's okay, it might still be running, but the water level is going to look a lot lower if I can get some water out. The water's going to not be above that, but it's still going to be running down into the toilet through one of these, through this tube. No, not through the tube, sorry, through the actual valve itself, the rubber. So, how do we explain this real easy? So, if the water level's below this, so it's not flowing over the top and going down, or if we have a center tube, if it's below it, then it's the base of the outlet valve and the rubber, you've got to change that, not the job we're doing today. If, like I just showed you before, it's flowing over the top, and this is still running, that means this thing's screwed. We've got to change it. So, here's how we do it. This is the setup that we're working with. We got the stop valve here. We've got the pipe leading to the toilet, and then we've got the base. This grey thing here is the base of the inlet valve, and then this white thing is the locking nut, holds the inlet valve in. The inlet valve is what I showed you up top. This particular toilet is actually leaking from here, so we're going to change that, and you're also going to want to change this. Now, you've got to turn the water off, so turn the valve off, and to turn anything off is clockwise. And you want to flush the toilet to make sure you got it off. You don't want to do something and get wet. If this doesn't actually shut off, you probably have to go turn the mains off. Get that turned off. Now you're going to get rid of this, undo this pipe work. You're going to undo these called kinko nuts. Get a tool, molded grips, shifter, whatever you got, and it turns, what's that one, anti-clockwise to undo. Loosen it up. You can do it by hand. Not most times you can. Here's the bottom one. Free. Do the top one on the plastic. Because this is new, if it's a bit tight, you know, you might break the plastic base of the inlet valve, but that's okay because we're replacing it anyway. Do that one. This is a heaps common problem too. It's a big saver. I'm going to show you the product I'm using in a minute. But I'm using the Fluid Master brand because it's one you can get everywhere. You can get it in hardware stores. There's lots of other ones that do exactly the same job, but that one you can get everywhere. See, someone's ever tried to fix that in the past. Now we're going to undo this. You can't get this out till you get this lifted up. So now we're going to undo that. Now this is going to look like massive overkill with this tool I'm about to use, and it is, because I lost my small multi-grips. So this is actually going to be quite annoying for me, because this doesn't have a hex head on it to get anything on. But the point is, just get it loose, and then you should be able to undo it by hand the rest of the way. Oh, it's terrible. Okay, so after a shitload of stuffing around with the big oversized motor grips, I finally got that thing loose enough to undo it by hand. So just undo it with your fingers. You may have to hold on to the top bit. See, my top hand's actually in the cistern right now. Unfortunately, I can't show you both of those things. And just get that off. I see now that that can lift up. This thing can come out. We don't want that anymore. You can recycle that if you want, but it ain't worth much. Bottom nut's off. Simply lift the Fluid Master out, which I'm doing with my top hand in the cistern. There it is. And we're replacing exactly the same type. This is the replacement one, the Fluid Master inlet valve. It's exactly the same as the other one. And there'll be a little bag of new locking nut, new rubber, and this little yellow strainer. Throw that away, don't want it. Now, instead of trying to get this back in, so you can imagine it's fixed, it's rigid, it's hard. We're screwing onto plastic. You're going to cross thread it. It's a real bitch. Get rid of that. When you buy this, you want to get one of these. This is called a water hookup or a flexi. They'll have them in plumbing stores, hardware stores, everywhere. This one's 225mm long, which is about the same as the gap. Your gap might be bigger or smaller, so you could get yourself 300 or anything. You can get the right size. If it's too long, you can always just curl it round and all sorts of things, but this is the size we want. And that will screw in there real well without us destroying any of the thread. Now, when this goes in, it's going to go in like that. You've got to adjust the water height where you want this flow to shut off. This screw here is for minor adjustments. To really get the height right, you've got to lift this spring up, and this whole thing will then extend or retract. When you got it at the height you want, i.e. when that thing comes up, it'll turn off, so the water level's no longer going over that weir I showed you before and down the tube. You push the ring back down, make sure it's locked in, and when it's down, and then when it's locked in, you'll give it a bit of a pull, make sure it's on, because when you turn the water on, that ring's not down on this thing will fly off. Okay, I'll show you how to put it in. Okay, so new fluid master. The rubber. With the, you can see it right, but you see it juts out, it's recessed and stuff. That bit goes on the base. Push it all the way on. Now this thing will go over and go down the hole in the ceramic. It just sits there for now, and then we're going to get back underneath, and it's where the rest of the magic happens. Get the locking nut. This shadow's going to mess me up a bit. We'll see. Okay, so with my right hand I'm sort of holding the top of the fluid master in the cistern where I want it, and then I'm just putting the locking nut on and doing it up, and it should be very easy to do. You want to get it on all the way and as tight as you can do it with your fingers, and then we're going to have to tighten it up with a tool. But I'm not going to show you with the tool because I'm going to have to mess around with that big ass pair of multi grips again. So that's going to be a little bit screwing around. Now we grab our flexi, yeah, and we do the plastic bit up here first. That way it's easiest, and then we can stuff around putting it onto the metal part of the stop valve. This way, less chance of cross threading. So nice and easy. It should go really easy. Start tightening up. When you're doing that one, what did I say again? Anti-clockwise. You don't want to cross thread it. Now with these flexis, it's hand tight and then a little bit more with a tool. About a good, probably one turn. Then we come down and we do it to the valve. It's the same, nice and slow. Make sure you're not cross-threading it. All finger tight for now. When you know you're on and you know it's doing up, get your tool, tighten it up. That slight squeaking, that's definitely right. Okay, now I just got to get back and tighten the top nut up, and then we'll turn it on and test it. Okay, so I grabbed another tool from the truck, which is actually, I'm going to show you that. It's actually called a basin spanner. You can see it real well. It's used for undoing nuts under basins. Good tool, but expensive. Not something you need to buy for your home. Multi grips would do that job just fine. Now, so I've turned the water back on. The best way to check for leaks is obviously dry everything up with toilet paper. Toilet paper sucks up all the water in the world. And you get a nice good look at it, get rid of all the spots, and then just flush it a couple of times, keep an eye on it, see if there's any water coming from anywhere. If there is water coming from here, 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 just tighten it up a little bit more. Now one thing that does happen with these mini cistern cogs that can get you, they're funny. They live their whole life pretty much open and turned on and not spinning all the time, closing and opening like you would with, say, a tap in a basin. So when they get turned, sometimes they shit themselves. They start leaking out of here. If that happens, just turn the valve open. It should turn it to wherever it was. If it was fully open, it should turn it all the way back to fully open because it's happy where it was. But if it's still leaking after that, just try and close it down a bit or open it up a bit and see if the dripping stops. Normally it'll find a sweet spot and will stop. That's an important little trick there, right there. That's brilliant. If it doesn't, you got to change its tap, and that's a whole other show. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we go up and you can see the water level. I've already turned this back on. The water level is pretty much up where the brown stain of the water was before. So that's a perfect level. See, the water is not going to flow over the top of this thing. And I showed you, so you got to, if it's not right, you got to stick your hand in here and start adjusting that little locking nut I told you about before. If it's only slightly out, you can start screwing this up or down. But that's it. And just give it a couple flushes and make sure it works. Alright, that's it. Okay guys, I hope that helps. I hope I explained it well enough and you understand what's going on. If you're not sure or it's slightly different, feel free to make contact with me on Facebook fan page, private message, post a question. You can leave it in the comments box on the website. Comment on YouTube if you need. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions and help you along if I can. So I'll see you next time.